it's Frank. Welcome to episode 2 of my Delorean Restoration. Last week I managed to get the fuel tank cleaned out. I got a new fuel pump, and now this week I need to get the car running. And to do that, I've got to get clean fuel from the front to the back of the car. Now, seeing as there's still dirty fuel in the fuel lines and the fuel filter and the fuel accumulator, I have got to clean out everything that's in the fuel line first. To do that, I've got some really high-tech stuff. First of all, a piece of fuel hose. Secondly, an old tennis ball container. And lastly, I stole some of my kids' sand toys. So yes, some really high-tech shit. There is no expense spared on this project. Here we are, all the high-tech components that I have MacGyvered together sitting in the front of the car. This is the shiny new fuel pump. I have not installed it in the tank just yet. I want to get everything connected up first, push the new clean fuel through the lines, make sure everything is good before I install it in the tank. If there's a problem, it's so much easier to diagnose and fix while the pump is fully accessible. The technical term for this piece of apparatus is a bucket, specifically a small child's bucket. Don't worry, I will give it back to the small child at a later time. It may still smell of fuel and it's probably going to be highly combustible, but at least they will have something their friends don't have. The key here is I'm going to keep the bucket full of fuel at all times, and that way the pump can draw it up out of the bucket and then push it through to the back of the car through this pipe. Now this pipe is not connected to anything at the other end. In fact, it is running into another bucket at the back, which will catch the dirty fuel that's pushed through, and ultimately we'll see some clean fuel come through once everything has been cleared out. In case I've complicated the simple, here's another way of looking at it. There is a bucket full of clean fuel and a fuel pump at the front of the car. There's another bucket that's empty at the back of the car. The pump is going to send the nice clean fuel through the lines to the bucket at the back of the car, pushing out any old fuel, dirt or crud in the process. Finally, the return line from the engine is leading into this tennis ball container. It's not needed quite now, but when I reconnect the main fuel line to the engine later on, it's going to push some clean fuel through this line and push any dirty fuel that's still sitting in the line into the container so that I can safely dispose of it. If you've ever wondered what 6-year-old fuel looks like, this is it. It's pretty nasty looking. Smells awful. Oh, it tastes awful. It's kind of spicy. Alright, so I actually dumped all the fuel as soon as I got it out of the car and forgot to film it, so I made this up out of a little bit of Coca-Cola and water. But you get the picture. So bottom line is, I have the bucket in the front of the car, keeping that filled with fuel. We have reconnected the line at the back of the car. So now what we want to do is see if we can get the engine to fire up.
Yep.
Okay. Fuel in the bucket.
Yeah, you put fuel in the bucket, right? Yeah.
Okay, you ready?
Yep. Try it again. Huh?
That sounds good.
Yeah. I was getting a little bit of gas, but I'm worried about running out of fuel.
Now that we know it's possible to get the car fired up, next step is to install the fuel pump and the fuel sender and get the car running on fuel out of its very own fuel tank.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, now that I have the fuel pump, fuel sender, everything in place, I can put this cover back. So I did have to move and twist the fuel pump a little bit to get it into the exact spot so this would sit down flush. But yeah, I can screw this in now, and that's it, done on this end of the car for all the fuel situation. So overall, it has been a good week. I finally got the car running and I'm very, very happy. So next steps, I just want to close out the fuel system and get the fuel accumulator replaced and the fuel filter replaced. That way it's done. I don't have to think about it again. So look for those videos next week. And also in the future, I will be fixing a coolant leak. Could be the radiator. I will also be rebuilding the front of the car. Now, in addition to those upcoming videos, I will be working on other cars as well. And you should also look out for a video where I will be drag racing a Volvo SUV. If you have enjoyed what you've seen, please like and please subscribe. I would love to get quite a few subscribers on this channel as soon as possible. So until next week, cheers.